Good afternoon and welcome to the Inspiring Inking Facebook page. Welcome to the Inspiring Inking YouTube channel. I'm Amanda Fowler. It's Tuesday the 17th of January, 2023. If you are here watching live, can you just do me a quick sound and light check? And if you're watching the replay, thank you so much for taking the time to watch Craft and Chat. And if you've not joined us before, Craft and Chat, we have about 20 minutes or so of chatting, and then we get on with some crafting. And today I'm using one of my favourite stamp sets from the current mini catalogue. So I am just going to check that I am live in the right place, because technology, you never quite know. Okay, it looks like I am, but the lighting is a bit weird. Hold on. I'm just gonna wander around and move the lights a little bit and see. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's a bit better. I don't look quite as luminous as I did. Hello, Sue. Hello, Mum. Pauline's here. Hello, Michelle. Thank you very much for joining us. Hello, Anne. She's saying it's shivery in Suffolk. Yes, shivery down here in Hampshire too. The thermometer currently is saying -3. Brian said it was -6 when he left for work this morning. And when I finished here, I'm going to go and put the log burner on. So yeah, so that's a bit early in the day for the log burner to be going on, but we need the warm. Dino, hello, Chris. Yeah, Chris and Angela in cold but sunny Newbury. Sound is fine, focus a bit soft. Yeah, I think I don't know. It was doing this the other day. It kept putting me in soft focus, which is nice because you can't see the wrinkles. So long as when we go hands down, you can see everything clearly. I don't mind, being a bit less wrinkly. Good afternoon, Deborah. Calgary is in the house. Hello. Lovely to see you all. So how has your week been? As has been a bit crazy, hasn't it, Mum? My dad's not been very well. So I have been up to sunny Lincolnshire and back again over the weekend. I'm pleased to say he is improving. But it was lovely to see Mum and Dad. And I even got to do a little bit of crochet. So there you go. So not all bad. And I seem to have come home with more yarn. Yes. So there you go. So I haven't got very much exciting to tell you because obviously I've been traveling mainly. But I did have one question to ask. Have I shown you these papers yet? The thing is, sometimes I forget what I've done. So these papers are from Celebration. So let me know, and when I turn the camera around in a minute, I'll show you them again. Or if I have, no, I'll show you them. I'll show you them anyway. They're really pretty. You need to see them. Oh, all of my chat stopped. That always worries me. So tell me what you did at the weekend. And Well, so last week we talked about all the different projects and all the different crafts that we do. So, hi, Margaret. She's saying hello to everybody, as is Sandy. Thank you. I've got hiccups now. It's just is going. Hello. Roz is popping in from Florida. Sue is saying she's got those papers. They are very pretty. And Dino is saying her weekend was spent at a Girl Scout camp. So, Dino, did you know I was the UK equivalent Girl Guides? I was a leader for 25 years, long time. I worked with rangers mainly, so 14 plus. Yeah, and sometimes guides, they're aged 10 plus, but smaller than that, no. There was just too much. Small people, too much. I like teenagers best. So there we go. Okay, so Chris, I am so jealous. Chris went to see My Fair Lady in Southampton on Sunday. Wow. I love a good musical and I love My Fair Lady. It's one of my favorites. Roz is saying I'm a hot mess. Yeah, I think I am. And that's so cool. Anne said she didn't do much at the weekend, but she's busy knitting hats for the ambulance service, given to people waiting in ambulances outside of A&E on hat number 7. That's awesome. Do you crochet as well, Anne? Because sometimes crocheting's faster than knitting. That's very cool. So do you give them to the ambulance service then, and then they keep them in the ambulances? I'm guessing. Roz said she hid in a craft room. Yeah. Well, when I got home, I said to Brian, "What have you been doing then?" And you should have seen the list. You can achieve so much when I'm not in the house. He'd glossed doors and woodwork and painted the new shower room. He'd finished making the stool for the shower room. I don't know. Oh, we painted in the lounge where we'd had some wires redone. There was this great big long list. I was really busy whilst I was not here. Oh, Deborah, you see, honestly, everyone, you are all my people. Fiddler on the Roof. There's another good musical. Deborah went to see Fiddler on the Roof. Ah, okay. So Anne says that she crochets badly. She loses her temper with it. So yeah, you're better off crocheting then. Her local yarn shop. It's called the Wool Bar. That's funny. Collects them and passes them on. Good afternoon, Jan. Saying hello to everybody. Okay. Right. So I'm going to turn the camera around in a second, but I just wanted to ask a question. I keep getting emails and I keep answering the emails and saying the same things, but I just think that people don't believe me. So you can join my team right now and choose from 3 different options. You can pay £99 and choose £170 worth of products. You can pay £125 and choose £170 worth of products, plus you get a white mini cut and emboss machine. Or you can pay £125, get £170 worth of products, and get a boho blue mini machine. Now, if your list of things that you want or need, and I say both of them because sometimes we want stuff, sometimes we need stuff, is more than £100, please consider joining. You absolutely can join and only purchase for yourself. That there is no Stampin' Up law against that. There is no rule that says you can't. If you want to, you can sell to your family and friends. You can do parties. You can build a business the way I have. You can do any of those things. Stampin' Up will not make you do any of those things. I will not make you do any of those things. But my job as a team leader is to support you with whatever it is that you want to do. And I understand that it sounds too good to be true. And I've actually had, I think, 3 too good to be true emails over the weekend. And absolutely, it is a crazy deal. But if it interests you, email me, call me. Hang on, let me put my email address up. Email me, amanda@inspiringinking.com, and I can give you a call, or we can chat over email, whatever works best for you. You can join my team if you are in the UK, France, Germany, Austria, the Netherlands, Belgium, or Ireland. 7 countries. If you are outside of those and in Australia, New Zealand, Canada, or America, you can't join my team, but you can join Stampin' Up in those 4 countries. If you need a contact in those countries, let me know. I have demonstrator friends who would love to welcome you in their teams. Okay, so let me just go back to the comments. Let's see. I don't know whether I welcomed you, Jan. Hello, and Fran. And Jenny is here. Happy New Year to you too, Jenny. Right, so I'm going to show you these papers, but I'm going to do a public service announcement. Do you own any of these? And if you don't know what it is, and you have some of, honestly, why is the light? I'm going to move the lights further back. Hang on. Right, I've moved them further back. Let's see if that helps. No, not really. Come on. Anyway, this is a re-inker bottle. And this is an ink pad. Hang on. I'll show you one with contrast. That's an ink pad. If you have an ink pad, you need one of these. And I'm going to show you in a minute how to re-ink an ink pad. But I have been warning people for the last 2 years that I think we're going to have a colour refresh. And I really, really, really think we're going to have a colour refresh. And I know I've been saying it for 2 years. And I am not sure why Stampin' Up haven't done it. But for those of you that haven't been with me for a while, Stampin' Up have 50 colours. So let me just grab the catalogue and just show you. Okay, so we have 50 colours. So we have 4 colour families. They are the brights, the subtles, the regals, and the neutrals. And then we have, so that's 40, there's 10 in each. And then we have 2 colour collections of 5 in each. And colour collections are like the high fashion colours, basically. And they last for 2 years. Now, when we have a colour refresh, it's the 40 colours, the 4 colour families that are shaken up. And basically what happens is Stampin' Up take out colours that don't sell well, that people aren't using, and put in new colours to kind of fill the gaps. And sometimes they move colours around. So for instance, when I joined Stampin' Up, Old Olive was in the brights and it's now in the regals. So colours kind of move around, so they're tonally similar. And sometimes we get old favourite colours come back with a colour refresh. So that's always really exciting. Now, we haven't had a colour refresh for a long time. And this year is Stampin' Up's 35th birthday. So I'm kind of thinking that this may well be the year. So this is me saying to you, if you have a favorite color that you have an ink pad, oh, there we go. You have an ink pad for, make sure you get the corresponding ink refill. You don't use very much ink to refill your ink pad. So, you know, just get yourself a refill. And actually, when I speak to new customers and new team members, I always say, whenever you buy a pack of card, you buy a pack of single color card, an ink pad and a re-inker at the same time. And then you know that you've always got an inked ink pad to go with that cardstock. So yeah, so that's kind of my plea, really, to make sure you've got that. So I'm going to show you how to re-ink an ink pad and a couple of things about the ink pads, and then I'm going to show you these papers. So let's have a look. Hi Gordy. Sue is saying she's got quite a few. Roz is saying yes. Deborah's saying 1 re-inker for every stamp pad. I buy them at the same time. Deborah, you get a gold star. Roz is saying she thinks we're due for a colour refresh as well. Hello, Lorraine. Hello. I don't know because I can't read Japanese, but we've got a Japanese crafter chatting. So thank you very much for joining us. So, yeah, no, Valerie, I don't know what's going on with the lighting. It's kind of weird. Yeah. I think what I need to do is tweak the settings on the camera, but I can't do it when I'm live. So, yeah. I will try and make sure it's fixed for next week. So I'm going to turn the camera around and hopefully, let's have a look. Hopefully that will be working okay. I'm actually going to move the lights back in because I want you to be able to see the colours on the desk better. Right. Can you see? Is that all okay? Hi, Ali. Please don't worry about being late. You can always watch the little bit that you've missed on the replay. Lynn prefers ink spots, but she does get re-inkers. Hi, Jules. Hi, Kathy Jean. Alberta, Canada is in the house. And hello, Janet. Janet, the card that you sent me is downstairs. I will bring it upstairs. Thank you very much for sending it to me, and I will get on to that. And everyone else, I'll show you next week. Okay, right. So let me talk to you about ink pads. So when an ink pad comes to you, it's covered in cello. I'm going to take the cello off. And I know many of you have ink pads, but there are lots of people joining us all the time that haven't got ink pads. So the way you open a Stampin' Up ink pad is you look at this bit here, and there's like a little finger hole there. And you pull it, and you pull it. So I'm going to pull it that way, pull it straight up like that. And lift it up all the way so it's flat. And then you can slide it in and it locks in place. Now, when you first get them, they can be a bit stiff. So what I do is just open and close them a few times just to get them used to moving. Now, underneath, there is a full set of stickers. Now, a little while ago, I had a customer who'd been with me for about 8 or 9 years, who, when I said something about the stickers, she said, I didn't know underneath there were stickers. So if this is you and you didn't know there are stickers underneath, because she actually thought that I had these labels printed, but I don't. They're underneath, and there are 5 labels. So there's English, French, German, Japanese, although we're no longer in Japan, so I'm expecting those labels to go. And then there is a plain label. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lift that off just to show you. And you peel off the labels. Now what you do is you put the label on the front here. And I'll show you on this one. So I've got a label there on that Mango Melody. And then I've put the plain label on the inside. If you want to, obviously you could put another label on the other side as well. But there you go. So just in case you didn't know, there were labels. Now, re-inking. So you can tell when an ink pad needs re-inking because it starts to get a bit blotchy. Can you see that? Hopefully you can see that. And, let's just look it up. Now, I use an old bone folder and I've written re-inking on it. But you can use the back of a spoon, that will work, but you want something that isn't sharp because this is foam. And if you've got something sharp, you can make a gouge in it, and you do not want a hole in your ink pad. And all I do, I just tend to give the re-inker a little bit of a shake. And then I squeeze it and I do a little squiggle top to bottom and a little squiggle bottom to top. And then I use my re-inker and my bone folder, and I massage it into the sponge. Now, can you see it's kind of going paler? And basically what that does is it kind of makes sure that it's kind of even all over. Now, your temptation at this point is to put more on, because you're looking at this and you're thinking, oh, well, that looks quite pale. But if you put too much re-inker on your ink pad, it will bubble up and it will it will just be, there'll just be too much ink on it. So I would put on the same amount that I've done, massage it in, and then clean your bone folder, and then close up your ink pad. Now, Stampin' Up ink pads are unique because when they close, the ink pad is stored upside down. So once the ink has settled, it will flow through to the surface again. So I will let this sit now for a few hours before I check it and see if it needs re-inking. Okay, so hopefully that has kind of answered your re-inking questions. I've got another one there for later. Okay. So Lynn's saying that also you can wrap one of the labels around your re-inker lid from the ink pad so that you can see it easily. And Doris is saying she uses the back of a plastic spoon. So yeah, so it just, whatever you do, make sure it's not sharp. Okay, so I'm going to show you this paper pack now. It's called Favoured Flowers. And sometimes I miss things in the catalogue. I know. But sometimes crazy busy life, and I don't necessarily read everything, or I skim read it. So I missed that this paper coordinates with the Fragrant Flowers bundle. And there's some samples here. And that is this bundle. Now, I don't have this bundle yet. It will be coming to me imminently, but it's in the mini catalogue and it's on at page 21. So you can see the flowers are the same flowers as on the papers in the second. And better still, the dies will cut out the flowers in the papers. And then you've got this great label as well and all sorts of different dies. Really, really cool. So it's to coordinate. Like I said, I don't know how I missed that, but I did. So look at these papers. So you've got a green crosshatch at the back. I just love the deep purples. And you've got black as a base. And this is a mossy meadow, I think. We've got one of the greens. And again, so these are the sorts of papers that you can just put this paper on a card and a sentiment and you're done, because they're just so beautiful. It's a really nice soft blushing bride there. Ali's saying she uses an old credit card to spread her ink as well. That's another top tip. Right, I've shown you that one already. And then this one with this occasion craze, I think, or it might be, what are the colours? So the colours are Basic Black, Blackberry Bliss, Calypso Coral, Evening Evergreen, Fresh Freesia, Mossy Meadow, and Petal Pink. So very cool, beautiful papers. And they coordinate with a stamp and die set that I didn't know, honestly. Right, so tea. TT. So I am using today the Queen Bee stamp set and the coordinating dies and the Hive 3D embossing folder. So this embossing folder is actually in the annual catalogue, but obviously it works. It works really well with the bee. So let me just see if I can find it in the catalogue. Page 26. There we go. There we go. So you've got the lovely stamps and the dies. And if you remember, so I have this card. And this card was made by Laura Milligan. And she's a million sales achiever. And this is her stamp set that was designed by her for her million sales. So I will put this, I'll take a picture of this card, but she gave me this card on stage in Vienna. It's really lovely to meet her. And I just wanted to show you this because it's been just stamped on a note card with a little bit of linen thread. I talked about linen thread last week. Everyone needs to put linen thread on there on their orders. And this lovely Queen stamp. So there we go. So that's one card, and I've got two more cards I'm going to make. Oh, we've got some more hints and tips. So Lorraine says she uses a frugal amount of Vaseline on the sides of an ink pad if they are particularly stiff. So I'm guessing that's to kind of lubricate it to make it move. Brilliant tip. Hello, Zaina. Okay, so let me show you the stamps and the dies first up. So there are 5 dies that cut out the stamped images. So there's one for the big bee, there's one for the foliage, there's one for this teeny bee, there's one for a flower, and there is one for the crown. So they're the dies that cut out stamped images. And then you've got a huge array of other dies that cut out other things. Ooh, so let's get them all out. So you've got this lovely wreath here. I'll put them together actually. And I'm hoping that the camera will pick up. It's actually got embossing on the leaves. And if you put 2 together, you'll see it on a card that I'm going to do in a minute. You can make a full wreath, which is really lovely. You've got these beautiful wings. Now, I've die cut them just out of Cajun Craze cardstock, but they will look absolutely wonderful in vellum as well. You've got a label die with little stitching around the edges. There are a couple of flowers. That's those 2. And you'll see me using these later on. But again, they've got embossing on them, on the petals and in the center. You've got like a little bit of honeycomb. And obviously you've got the hexagons that come out of that as well. So you could use sort of the reverse. We've got additional leaves. Then you've got 2 bees. So you've got the negative and the detail. And obviously that will go over the top. So you can do like a 2-tone bee if you want. And then this is the teeniest one. Can you see that? I don't know. It's a little tiny heart. That's really cool. Oh, Zaina's saying she runs a birthday candle along the edges if it's stiff. So that's another top tip. There. So they're the dies, and obviously you've got the stamps as well. Okay. So I am going to start out. Let me just get all my bits out. I've got a garden green card blank, and I'm using vanilla card, and most of the time I use white, but sometimes I like the softness that vanilla gives you. And I'm going to be stamping with So Saffron, or using So Saffron with garden green, and it's quite a soft color combination, so that's why I went with vanilla. So I have already done my die cutting, and I've die cut some flowers. I have more flowers, and I've die cut 2 wreaths. And you know what I haven't done? Right, I'm going to run away because I know there is no glue in this Tombow, and I meant to get a new one. Chat amongst yourselves whilst I'm gone. Obviously, I'm using green, garden green, and So Saffron. So tell me your favorite spring sort of color combination. So we want a green and a color, and then I can use some of those color combinations in the coming weeks. Right, I'm going to go and get my glue. Hang on. Was I that fast, or are you not typing quickly? Come on, color combinations, spring colors. What are your favorites? Okay, so there's the die cut pieces. I have also embossed a piece of vanilla with the Hive embossing folder, which is going to go on to the So Saffron layer. And I have also stamped the bee and die cut it. So mainly, well, we've got assembly to do, but I have got to stamp the happy birthday on the tag. So happy. Ta-da! Just clean those stamps off. I need them in a minute. Okay. So let's get some layers down. And then the lovely thing about this embossing is obviously you can have it either way. Just make sure that you put with something that is as embossed as heavily as this is, make sure you're putting lots of glue on it so it will stick. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is just play with the positioning, because my bee is going to go in the center. And I'm going to use these as sort of frames with, ooh, maybe big flowers and little flowers. I've got some pearls as well in a second. And then happy birthday. Okay, so kind of my positioning is fine there. What I'm going to do is put the bee down first. I'm just going to curl up the bee's wings and use dimensionals. And as I always say, put plenty of dimensionals on. You don't want your images to kind of sag. And particularly if you're posting things, if it gets squashed in the post, it's not so good. Okay, so I've got my bee down. And I'm going to put my sentiment down as well. Oh, I'm getting lots of colour combinations. When I finish this card, I'm going to go through them. Thank you. Okay. Right. So with a delicate die cut piece like this, there are lots of different ways you can do it. I've been promising for weeks to show you the adhesive sheets that we have. I will make myself another note and share with you. So you can put your cardstock onto an adhesive sheet and then die cut it, and it just means the whole thing is beautifully adhered. I love my Tombow glue, as you know, and I will just put lots of little dots over it and then kind of pop it down. Obviously, the danger is, if you're a bit heavy-handed, is that you can get glue oozing. So just try to be careful with it. And I'm just going to tuck that so it's down underneath the bee's wings. There we go. Go on, stick. I'm going to do the same with this one. Ooh. And then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with the flowers as well. It just does take a little bit longer with all these tiny little dots of glue, but it just helps it adhere. Okay. I'm just going to pop that just there. She says, famous last words. Because I've now got Tombow on my fingers. You will stay. Okay. So I'm just going to get my stamping mat and my flowers. And these have already got some embossing on them. I have sort of shown you, but what I want them to do is kind of curl up and lift up from the card. So what I'm going to do is use my score tool. You can either use the one that comes with your oh, sorry, that's my doorbell now. I'll be back. That was the UPS man. Oh, right. What is this called? Oh dear. Take your pick tool. That's what it's called. So it has different ends. So you can get a ball tool end as well, which comes with it. Or you can use your ball tool that comes with your scoreboard. So if you use the fat end and just press in the center of your flower, it makes the petals curl up. Just like that. And it's it's that easy. You can do little circles as well, which will help. But these work really well, just like this. I can hear you all shouting, it's a pick tool. It's your take a pick tool. Some days you just don't remember. Oh, let's have a look. So we're nearly there. I've just got to put pearls on. And then I will respond to all the messages because they're all flying in. I can see out the corner of my eye the chat all kind of scrolling. Right. So let's just pop some little pearls down. There we go. So little pearls for the little flowers. Medium pearls for those. And the question is, oh yeah, can't have too many pearls, can we? Okay, so let me just layer that up. There we go. So there is the finished card. Now there's lots of dimension because we've got the embossing and the die cut and the stamps and the die cut and so on. So I hope you like that card. So let's have a look at the colour combinations and all the other things that you've been saying whilst I was crafting. Chris is saying Highland Heather and Mint Macaron. Sandy is saying yellow and any of the purples. They always say spring to her. I think that's because they're crocusy colours, aren't they? Coastal Cabana and Pool Party. Yellow and blue, says Lorraine. But loving this combination. Oh, Margaret's saying fresh freesia and gorgeous grape. Oh, Joanne's just joined us. She's waiting with hubby for a scan in hospital. I hope the scan goes well and you are better, or he is better soon. Hi, Anne. She's just joined us. Zaina, so do you mean this one to go with the Simply Scored board? What I suggest you do is contact your demonstrator. So if you were a demonstrator, contact demo support. And if you're not a demonstrator, if you contact the demonstrator that you purchased it from, they'll be able to contact demo support for you. Okay, right. So thank you, Zaina. Thank you, Anne. Thank you, Margaret. Jan saying blue for me plus daffodil. Brilliant. Okay, yeah, so normally blue for me, but how cool is this? I am not making a blue card today. So obviously we've got this one from Laura, which is soft succulent, I think. And then this one. And now I am going to do a purely stamped card. That is that is very me, and it's actually doing something that I don't do very often because, well, I don't know why. Because I love kind of vintagey, grungy kinds of cards, and I know that not everybody else loves those. Oh, okay. So Zaina, can you email me? Email me the details of ish when you bought it and the name of the demonstrator, and I'll contact demo support on your behalf. So here you go. There's my email address. So ping me an email with ish when you bought it, 5 years ago or whatever, who you bought it from, and sort of your contact details, address details, and so on. I'll get in touch with demo support and we'll see what we can get sorted out for you. Okay. Right. So, vintagey, grungy cards. But I've got a few little techniques, but this is going to be a quick card. So, don't worry. I know we're kind of getting closer to 3 o'clock. So, the first thing I'm going to do is use this embossing folder as a stamp. So you can use all of your embossing folders as stamps. You can use either side of them, so like the positive or the negative side, to get ink onto your card. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm just put a little bit, hopefully you can see that, a little bit of ink on the card, and I'm just going to pop it down on my grid paper and squash it. Now, by squashing it, what I'm actually doing is transferring the ink. If I wanted it to emboss as well, obviously put it through your cut and emboss machine or your die cutting machine. But I've done it once on here just because I don't want the ink to be as dark. But can you see? You can see that transfer of ink there. So now I'm just going to do it again with my piece of card, because I just want a little bit of background. There, look. Can you see? I hope you can see. It's just a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of build up colour and texture with the stamps. So this is Crumb Cake. And I'm using this lovely stamp, which is text. And you can make out the words garden, bee, flower, bloom, life, miracles, honey, gather, grow, and spring. So do make sure if you're using this stamp that you've got it the right way up. And I'm going to ink it up, stamp it off, and stamp it down 2 or 3 times. And what you're going to see is as I'm doing this, it will just build up a pattern. Where's the stamp set on? So there is a little tiny splat as well. Okay. So I've got a lovely long stamp, and I'm going to use the early espresso, and I'm going to stamp a little bit down there, a little bit here. Ooh, I'm going to put a couple of flowers. A bit more texture, and then I'm going to use the blending brush, ink it up. Okay, and I'm going to start in this left-hand corner and go up. So I'm just, again, I'm softening the colour. See, it's a bit smudgy. And I'm going to take my B, because this is going to be the focal point of the card. And I'm going to stamp that just there. Like so. We're going to put the happy birthday down as well. Yeah, actually, I was just thinking I was going to do that in espresso, but actually I think it looks nice in Crumb Cake. Yeah. And then I am going to add in a few of the early espresso flowers. So we've got some in Crumb Cake and some in espresso. And then what we're going to do is do some splats. Now, splats can be as as splatty as you want. They can be big splats or little splats. Now, I like smallish splats, and I use my marker pens. If you are very precious about your marker pens, you may not want to do this, because what I actually do is I use the brush tip end and the lid, and I flick the brush tip end onto the lid. And what it actually does, let me see if I can get some big enough splats to actually show you. Yeah, they're coming through now, but it eventually will cause a problem with your pen. But can you see those splats? From here. Bigger ones up here. It works really well. Equally, you can use your Wink of Stella. Now, your Wink of Stella is awesome. If I just put a little bit of colour on there, you'll be able to see. Look how shiny it is. But what I do is I just squeeze it so that you get a bit more liquid coming out. It says famous last words. Sounds like this is almost empty. And then again, use this lid to make the splats. Now, I'm going to pick this up, and you will probably be able to see it better when I take a photograph of it and put it on my blog. Ooh, can you see them now in the center? They are so cool, honestly. The reality of the colors is amazing. But it is just all one layer. I'm just looking. Oh, there they are. I've got some of the champagne rhinestones, and I'm just going to put 3 of those on here as well. And it just adds a little bit more sparkle. You can just see. And then I'll get it all layered up. Lots of love for the vintage. Thank you. I will do more vintagey stuff. It's a bit like Marmite, and for my international friends, I don't know if there's an equivalent, but Marmite is a is a yeast based spread that some people love and some people hate. And I know that vintagey grungy isn't for everybody. It's one of my favorite things. So if you guys like it, then I might do a bit more. There we go. Let's just. There we go. Move those out of the way. Honestly, the mess. There we go. And obviously you could put lots of layers on this and do all sorts of things, but I just love. So lots of love for vintage, not necessarily calling it grunge. So that's good. So that's that one. But look how different it is to that one. And that's the thing, isn't it? This is very clean. But this is much more vintage, and obviously then you've got Laura's card as well. So I hope that you've enjoyed the cards that I've made with the Queen Bee stamp set. If you do want to see more vintagey grungy cards, let me know in the comments. I will be back next week, 2:00 UK time. All of the products that you've seen today can be purchased in my online store. If you go over to my blog, which is www.inspiringinking.com, you'll find clickable links to my online store, information about my special offers and so on. And you can sign up for my mailing list there too. If you're watching on YouTube, you just scroll down and you'll find links there as well. So yeah, lots of vintage requests. Yes. Fab. Thank you so much. I will see you all again next week. Till then, take care. Goodbye.